It was a warm, sunny day in the small town of Greenfield. 12-year-old Jacob was sitting on a bench in the park, staring down at the math textbook in his lap with a frustrated expression on his face. Math had never been his strong suit, and he often struggled to understand the concepts and formulas his teacher went over in class. "Why does this have to be so hard?" Jacob muttered to himself, flipping through the pages. "I'm never going to get this stuff." Just then, he heard the sound of footsteps approaching and looked up to see his classmate Emily walking towards him. "Hey, Jacob, what are you doing out here?" Emily asked, noticing the textbook. Just trying to study for the math test tomorrow," Jacob replied, closing the book. "But I don't get any of it." Emily sat down next to him on the bench. "Do you need help with something?" she asked. "I could try to explain it to you." Jacob sighed. "I don't know, it all just seems so confusing. I'm never going to be good at math." Emily frowned. "Don't say that. I'm sure if you keep practicing, you'll get the hang of it." Jacob shook his head. "I don't know, Emily. Math has always been my worst subject. I just don't have the same brain for it that you do." Emily placed a hand on his arm. "Hey, don't sell yourself short. Everyone has different strengths and weaknesses. Just because math doesn't come as easily to you doesn't mean you can't be good at it with some extra effort." Jacob looked up at her, a glimmer of hope in his eyes. "You really think so?" Emily nodded. "Absolutely. In fact, why don't we study together? I can try to explain the concepts in a way that makes more sense to you." Jacob hesitated for a moment, then nodded. "Okay, yeah, that could be helpful." The two of them spent the next hour going over the math material, with Emily patiently explaining each problem and walking Jacob through the steps. Jacob was surprised to find that with Emily's guidance, he was starting to understand the concepts better. "See, you've got this," Emily encouraged him. "You just needed a little extra help to get the hang of it." Jacob smiled. "Thanks, Emily. I really appreciate you taking the time to help me." The winner would receive a full scholarship to a prestigious high school. Jacob's heart raced as he read the details of the competition. This was exactly the kind of opportunity he had been dreaming of. He knew he had worked hard to improve his grades, and with Emily's help, he had come a long way. Maybe, just maybe, he had a shot at winning this scholarship. Without hesitating, Jacob signed up for the competition. Over the next few weeks, he poured all of his energy into preparing for the various challenges and assessments that were part of the process. He studied tirelessly, pushing himself to excel in every subject. When the day of the competition arrived, Jacob was a bundle of nerves, but as he sat down for the first round of tests, he felt a sense of determination and confidence that he had never experienced before. As the competition progressed, Jacob impressed the judges with his knowledge and problem-solving skills. He tackled each task with focus and perseverance, refusing to give up even when the challenges became increasingly difficult. Finally, the day of the final round arrived. Jacob, along with a handful of other students, stood before the panel of judges, ready to give their final presentations. As Jacob took the stage, he scanned the audience and spotted Emily, sitting in the front row. She gave him an encouraging smile and a subtle thumbs up. Seeing her there, supporting him, gave Jacob the extra boost of confidence he needed. He launched into his presentation, eloquently highlighting his academic journey and the obstacles he had overcome. The judges listened intently, clearly impressed by Jacob's passion and determination. When he finished, the room erupted in applause. Jacob felt a surge of pride and accomplishment. He had come so far, and now he was on the verge of achieving his dream. After the presentations, the judges deliberated for what felt like an eternity. Finally, the head judge stepped up to the microphone and announced the winner. And the recipient of the full scholarship to Greenfield High School is Jacob! Jacob's jaw dropped in disbelief as the audience erupted in cheers. He couldn't believe it. All of his hard work had paid off. As he made his way to the stage to accept the award, he caught Emily's eye and saw her beaming with pride. "I did it, Emily," he mouthed to her, tears of joy streaming down his face. "I knew you could," she mouthed back, her eyes shining with happiness. From that day on, Jacob's life took a dramatic turn. He excelled at Greenfield High, where he was challenged and inspired to push himself even further. He continued to work closely with Emily, who remained his closest friend and study partner. Together, they navigated the rigors of high school, supporting each other through the ups and downs. Jacob's newfound love of learning and his unwavering determination carried him through even the most difficult moments. By the time graduation rolled around, Jacob had become a standout student, earning top honors and securing a spot at a prestigious university. As he walked across the stage to receive his diploma, he couldn't help but glance out into the audience, where he saw his parents and Emily beaming with pride. In the years that followed, Jacob went on to achieve great success in his chosen field, always remembering the pivotal role that Emily had played in his life. He never forgot the lessons he had learned about the power of hard work, perseverance, and the support of a true friend. And whenever he found himself facing a new challenge, he would think back to that day in the park, when a kind-hearted girl named Emily had taken the time to encourage him and believe in his potential. It was a moment that had changed the trajectory of his life, and he would be forever grateful for her unwavering support and friendship. "Of course," Emily replied. "That's what friends are for, right?" From that day on, Jacob and Emily started studying together regularly. Emily would come over to Jacob's house a few times a week, and they would work through their homework and prepare for tests. At first, Jacob still struggled, but with Emily's encouragement and support, he started to see gradual improvements in his math skills. One day, a few months later, Jacob came home from school with a big smile on his face. "Mom, Dad, guess what?" he said excitedly. "I got an A on the math test." His parents looked at him in surprise. "An A? That's amazing, honey," his mom exclaimed. "I'm so proud of you." Jacob nodded, beaming. "It's all thanks to Emily. She's been helping me study, and it's really starting to pay off." His dad patted him on the back. "That's great, son. Keep up the good work, and you'll be a math whiz in no time." From that point on, Jacob's attitude towards math shifted dramatically. He went from dreading it to actually enjoying the challenge of mastering new concepts. He and Emily continued to study together, and Jacob's grades steadily improved. One day, after a particularly difficult lesson, Jacob turned to Emily and said, "You know, I don't think I would have made it this far without you. Thank you for believing in me and not giving up on me." Emily smiled. "Of course, Jacob. That's what friends are for. I knew you had it in you all along. You just needed a little push in the right direction." Jacob nodded. "Well, I'm really glad you were there to give me that push. I don't know what I would do without you." As the months passed, Jacob's confidence in his math abilities grew, and he started to excel in other subjects as well. He even began to tutor younger students who were struggling, drawing on his own experiences to help them understand the material. One day, as Jacob was walking home from school, he saw a group of kids gathered around a bulletin board, excitedly discussing something. Curious, he walked over to see what all the commotion was about. It turned out that the school was holding a scholarship competition for students who had shown significant academic improvement over the course of the year.